Northwood's Kitchen on Up North at 4 is brought to you by Bassett Jewelers and Engraving in Minocqua and Eagle River Cabinets in Rhinelander and Eagle River.
Hi everyone, welcome to Buffy's Northwood's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making pizza fry dippers. So it's sort of three components. We have the crust part, we have the topping part, and then we have the dipping part. And in this bowl, I have 1 envelope of active dry yeast, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons. I also have 1 teaspoon of sugar, and I have 1 cup of warm water that I'm gonna add to that. And just let that sit while it works. And then this is 2 1/2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, and that's our crust. For the topping, I have 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese that I shredded myself. I have Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and basil in here. And then this is 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then for the sauce, I have a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. I have some brown sugar, and again, I have Italian seasoning and basil and garlic powder in here to add to this, or granulated garlic. And we're just gonna let the dough, the yeast proof for just a minute. You'll see it start getting bubbly. And you don't have to wait too long at all. Just to make sure that the yeast is dissolved, we're just kind of waking it up. And now we're just going to add in the flour. And it's important that it makes a big mess and comes flying out. And the oil. And the salt. And you never want to put your salt directly on top of your yeast. It will impede how well the yeast works. So we're going to give this a stir. So it doesn't have to come together perfectly. Shaggy is perfectly okay. So we're just gonna let this sit now, sort of unattended, while I melt the butter. And I have the oven going, so I'm just gonna set it in front of my oven vent. Okay, now that we're lightly oiled, and it doesn't take much, you just don't want the dough to stick to the pan. And we're just gonna dump the dough out. And by whatever means you need, just roll it out to reach the edges. I'm just gonna throw a little flour on top of my crust and a little flour on my pin and just roll. And again, we don't need perfection. We just need kind of sort of okay. You know, nobody's grading us. It's not super thick, but you don't necessarily need it to be cracker thin. And now to my butter olive oil mixture, I'm adding my spices and such, and I'm going to just give it a stir with my pastry brush and spill some, because that always works. And that looks good. And now we're going to top it with the cheese and once again, you hear me say this probably till I'm blue in the face, but grate your own cheese. The shredded stuff in a bag is okay enough in a pinch, but it has anti-caking agents in it to keep it from sticking together in the package, which also keeps it from sticking together when it melts, and it doesn't melt nearly as well because we want ooey gooey rich. This is going to go into a 425-degree oven for 20 minutes or so. Definitely check it maybe like at 18, and into the oven we go. Okay, and now over at the stove, I have the tomato sauce heating up over lowish heat, and I'm adding in the herbs and spice, the garlic. And even though I know it's controversial to a lot of people, I like to add a little bit of brown sugar to it. And I know if your Nona didn't do it, you don't have to do it. You do what you're comfortable with, but I like the brown sugar in there. And it's only a teaspoon, so it shouldn't be too bad. And basically, we just want to heat this up till it's bubbly. And after like 23 short minutes in the oven, we have our pizza fry dippers. And you just, usually what I do is cut them across the short way. And if all you have is a round pizza pan, that is perfectly okay to just cut it however works for you. And we have our dipping sauce here. Just like that, you have pizza dipper fries from Buffy's Northwoods Kitchen. Cook on, my friends.